with each of these topics, I want to just make a very broad video that kind of just talks about what is the goal of this topic and how does it link to the other topics. So this is the first one. This is topic number 1. So you are basically starting, I hate using this kind of way talking about it, but like you're starting your journey in economics, right? Or journeys can sometimes end up bad or they can sometimes end up good. But for many of you, given the number of this course, ECON120, for many of you, this is your very first economics course. Some of you may have had it in high school, but from what I've experienced, high school economics is very different from regular college level economics. And so in this topic, we're basically just kind of laying out the framework, talking about what is economics. And at its very essence, at its most deepest level, economics is about making choices. I'll repeat that again. At its very basic level, economics is about making choices. How do we make those choices? Now, the primary way that we think about, how choices are made are prices, right? The price of something compared to the price of something else, right? And we can think of a number of examples of not only having to pay something physically, right? Like something costing $2 or something costing $100, but we can also think of it in terms of our time. How long does it take to do something? How much do I value it? And we can think of lots of examples of how we value our time and how we decide to allocate our time, that decision, that choice, versus how we make a choice, how we make a decision about how we're going to allocate our money. And what economics is the framework, the science of the methodical nature of how those choices are made. How do we understand that framework? And so everything is a trade-off. Everything has a trade-off. And what influences those trade-offs are us as individuals, our society, the people in our family, who we are with. All of those kinds of things can influence our choices. And they can make it so that what seems to be the choice made by me is a choice different than what's made by another person. That's totally fine. I don't understand what the desire is always of so many people to try to make everyone's choices the same. They won't be, because we're all different. And so this topic 1, starts to lay out the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics, both of which we're dealing with in this chapter. But it's really designed to give us that very broad outline of what is the discipline of economics and why it is what it is. For many of you as well, it should be noted that many of you are not economics majors, and many of you have no intent to be an economics major. And that's fine. My goal is not to try to make you an economics major. But I think that you can keep in mind what your discipline, what your major is, and keep thinking about why is it that my program requires this course, or why even does the university allow this to count as my university requirement? Think about that, because it's kind of like in high school and in college. In both cases, I was required to take a swim class. Now, I'm from the mainland. I'm from Wisconsin, where there's not a lot of water. So the nature of me being able to swim, you could get pretty far in life without having to know how to swim if you live in Wisconsin. But my high school and my college both required that I pass a basic swim test. Even though I don't go swimming, I don't swim. I don't even use hotel swimming pools. Yeah, I understand. I live in Hawaii, but it's just it's my choice that I don't get any particular joy, any particular love out of doing it. I get joy out of doing other things. Um, so why is that, right? I mean, at the time, I could think of it as a real pain in the ass to have to like learn how to swim, but at the same time, I mean, I learned the basic skill of like how to basically tread water and basically, you know, not be scared of being in the water and being able to survive. That was its basic goal as well, right? Just like why do we all have to learn, or why should we all try to learn CPR, right? Or why should we learn the basics of a foreign language? All those are things that someone else, someone smarter than us, or someone more powerful than us, thought it was a good idea that we should do. Well, in this case, someone thought it's a good idea that you should take at least a semester of economics. It's probably a good idea to think about why that's the case. This being the first topic, it's probably good to get into a good set of practices. So figure out how you're going to do things if you want to watch the lecture first, or if you want to read the textbook chapter first. You could do either, or do both. Do them in any order. And then just like is the case for every, or you could read the slides, but you would have a homework assignment. And then, this is my colleague, Konstantinos. I needed his phone number. You'd click under classwork. And for this first one, you won't have one. You just have to introduce yourself. So you could just talk about who you are. But for every other topic, you'd be reading that article and writing something. And those are the basic things you'd be doing for each of those topics. You could also read my typed up lecture notes. But you should have more than enough material. Okay, so that's my basic introduction to topic 1 video. And I will do this for the remaining topics.